morning, Deed Grabbers. We're here this morning for Goat Talk. I'm guessing we're live now. You guys know me. Y'all know I'm not the most technical person in the world. So if you're out there, say hello. Let us know how you're doing. Give us a like button or something and let us know that we're out there. So we're here this morning with Andy Detwiler with Go Big Printing, Print Genie. He's going to talk to us a little bit today about direct mail and how to use it effectively, how to use it affordably, and talk to you just a little bit about this program that he's got. So Andy, welcome to Go Talk.
Wow, thank you for having me, William. It's good to be here. I
Yeah.
love that you are a coach training on how to actively find motivated sellers, and you found or work with a niche, right? So you do this subject to type of properties. I find that it's very important to find and hone in on your niche. I'm just going to start out by saying that know what you're doing and focus on a niche. But anyway, it's nice to be here. Glad
Yeah,
I could share.
absolutely. So Andy, I just met Andy here in the past few months, and I'm going to tell you, after years and years of really doing, a small amount of direct mail, I mean, with a very targeted list, and actually ordering postcards and doing it all myself, he's really sold me on some automated processes. Hey, Tammy, good to see you. Chris, good morning. Rudy, good to see y'all. Kevin. Hey, Kevin, how are you, man? Listen, I just took a page from your book. Okay. If I want to look cool, I have to look at Kevin. So that's what I do. So I just try to copy what you do. Hey, Mark, good to see you guys. So Andy, tell us a little bit about Go Big and Print Genie, how you got started, and a little bit about direct mail and what you know, why you're the expert on that.
Okay, good. So can I jump over and share a screen?
Yeah, I think we can fix that up and
give me access.
fix it
I'll
where
go
you
through
can
and
do that.
yeah.
If I was, there we go. I think you ought to be able to show us just about whatever you got over there now.
Okay, good. Let me see. There we go. You can see the screen.
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. I think sometimes, well, at least I feel that when I listen to people and they validate themselves and understand where they came from and how they got to where they're at, you can better trust them, right? So you can see clearly that I've been around a while. Just do the the gray hair, maybe. I've been in the direct mail space for about 24 years. My inauguration into the direct world started in 1999, and I'm not going to bore you with a long history, but case in point, we built print on demand. Me and 8 guys were the first ones to build it. That means we gave users the ability to edit, customize a direct mail piece online and send it to a printer. That didn't exist. So that's how long I've done it. So 22 years, and that was 4 years in a smelly room with 8 guys. And then I've learned a lot in the last 2 decades, and I've learned a lot. I think we've mailed over 500 million pieces of mail. And we use our tool that we built that long ago, although we've modified it, of course, over the years. And we call it Go Big Printing. Really, the first taste of providing to investors was back in 2004. Actually, Dean Graziosi was one of our first coaching clients, and he said, I want our stuff on a system where our people can have access to it. Right. And that was really that aha moment for us when we realized a coach is the guy. They're the ones that understand it. They're in the trenches. They're doing it. And so we learned very early on, we're not a coaching and training center. We're a deployment center, and we specialize in direct mail marketing. And these coaches that have come along, and you included, are savvy and smart and know what you're doing. And so people listen to you and then expect you to deliver results, on your teachings. And so what we've done in the course of these 2 decades through Go Big Printing is send out mail, right? And we send letters and postcards. That's what we do, right? So we have added lots of features inside of this tool, but just to give you the understanding and pretense of where I've been and where I'm going, you'll start to understand my mind and what I'm trying to provide as well. So just as a coach, his job or her job is to teach those that want to learn how to buy and sell, real estate, et cetera. Our job is to create mechanisms and triggers and postcards and copy and data that will deliver a response, because it's, beholden on us to provide not just cheap, but effective solutions. So we built this Go Big Printing. Inside of Go Big Printing, and I'm going to jump to Print Genie in a minute, but inside of Go Big Printing is the letters and postcards, and there's hundreds of letters and postcards. Now it's our bread and butter. It's what we've done for all these years. But what I'm getting at is I've learned a lot over the course of time. I've learned that there's no one-hit wonder. I've learned that letters are important. I've learned that lists are important. I've learned that concentrated lists are important. So what I'm getting at is that we've discovered along the way those things that, give you a better response. And that's a little bit about what I want to share with you today. So as you can see here, inside of Go Big Printing, what we've done is we've learned from this and we've built this Print Genie. So let me just kind of click back and forth. Really, Go Big Printing, you can order and customize, mail, and send it out. I don't like to discount Go Big Printing because it's used daily. You can log in and edit something on the fly and send it out. What we've learned, and it's all pre-created copy that you can edit and change. What we've learned though, it's best to send things out seamlessly, triggered, automated, and without having to think about it. So we think of Print Genie as premeditated solutions. Now, a coach like yourself would know that it should say this, it should kind of talk about this, maybe it's subject to properties or that type of thing, or lease to buy or wholesaling, whatever it is. A coach would know what it is. Now, we have a lot in there that we built, but it generally comes from the knowledge and education of a coach like yourself. And so we put together these pre-created campaigns, postcards and letters, then the people that listen to you and trust you can access and order without thinking about it. So whereas on Go Big, you can edit and customize and you have to order at least 100 and you can't really do campaigns. You can, but it's not that easy. Print Genie, uniquely different. The products or the postcards letters already built. They're already built into a campaign. There's no minimums. We're going to talk about this in detail in a few minutes. So with that said, to give you a brief history of where we came from, let me jump into, if you don't mind, if I jump in here, and by the way, I can stop at any time and answer questions and we can have a dialogue. I don't mean to take the stage and just run with it, but I'll do that until you tell me you can wave your hand, William, and ask questions. That's okay.
Okay, well, let me stop you right there at this point
Sure.
and just remind everybody, if you have questions about direct mail, let us have them. Yes, Andrew, Andy is the same. Print Genie is with Go Big. The thing that impressed me so much about Print Genie was just what you were pointing out, that as someone who for years has done very small lists, I don't mail 5,000 postcards at a time. I just don't do it. But that I could go in here, upload a sequence that I have that I've used for years, and then just click a button and just generate that thing auto. I mean, I don't have to think about it anymore. And the really impressive thing about whether I wanted to mail one specific house, I can form a list, go in and do a search on Zillow or wherever it is that I try to find my leads, add 1 or 2 new leads a day or a week, and just, again, automate that whole process. And that is so cheap to do it. I mean, when I can mail, a 6-touch or however many it is campaign for, less than, $3 or $4, I mean, that's pretty amazing. And I don't have to touch any of it. So if I'm traveling or whatever I'm doing, I don't have to think about stopping and, I need to mail the second postcard to Joe Smith over on Oak Street. It's going to do it all for me. And the no minimums is really great because I don't have to spend $1,000 on marketing at a time.
Yeah, that's key. What you just said exactly what my little storyline here is, my most common direct mail mistakes and my guide to marketing without marketing, really marketing without marketing, quadruple your referrals. your point is true. No minimums, set it and forget it. It auto drips. That is so key. And in true to form, what we've discovered is, and part of the reason we built this also is that there was a data center. They would dish out probate leads and distress leads and tax liens and things like that. And generally speaking, there weren't many. There's like in the region they're working with, there was 12 or 20. And then what can you possibly do with 12 or 20 leads, right? And so the system's built for those in mind. You probably won't go into Print Genie and upload 10,000 like they do on Go Big Printing and then send out a 6-touch campaign. You'll do what most of these other guys do where they have like 12 leads. And they're like, what do I do with 12 leads? You dump them into Print Genie, sends them a text, an email, a letter, follows up with a text, an email, a postcard, waits about 3 weeks, sends them something else, waits another 3 weeks and sends them something else. And that's it. It just runs on itself. So as we kind of go through this, maybe I'll jump through a couple of these slides and we can go through them quickly, but these are like the biggest mistakes in direct mail, right? So as you kind of just said right off the bat, mistake number one, ignoring the most important factor in direct mail success. It's not the copy, it's not how pretty it is, it's not the artwork, the format, it's not if it lands on a Tuesday, it's the mailing list. So if you focus and concentrate on the list, and remember that the list is your market, right? So what we're trying to say here is that you need to have a good list. Now, that list can come from lots of different places. Wherever you get your list, at this level, if you're using your prop streams, et cetera, or county recording office or other data centers, or you're driving for dollars, you're using a targeted list. Even in driving for dollars fashion, that the house is, it's distressed or it's unkept or otherwise. But yes, most important is that data list. I think what we do is that we find that most people don't spend enough time getting their list together, and they just want to run hope marketing and hope their high equity list works. But we've learned long ago, because we've done it for so long. It was like high equity, okay. High equity absentee owners, okay. High equity absentee owners, homes over 30 years old. High equity absentee owners, homes over, and so you're doing is you're condensing your list tighter and tighter and tighter. So the tighter your list, the better response you're going to get. Testing. A lot of people don't test, and testing's not that easy. You have to set up a call rail system or something. But the case in point here, what we're doing with Print Genie is you can send 10 and see if you get a response. You can send 50. You can send a campaign that's 3-touch to 6 people, right? And get a vibe of the response you're going to get out without sending 10,000. I mean, I don't mind you jumping into Go Big and sending 40,000. It happens a lot, and it's a numbers game. But those guys will do tracking. They'll know that the calls are coming in. They'll track their websites. They'll track the phone numbers. They have systems that do that. I mean, then even in better yet, in Print Genie, you can actually have your mail go out, use a number. That number can come into your CRM, and then trigger a campaign right out of Print Genie. But testing is key. Don't discount the power of testing.
Yeah, Andy, we've got a question. Yes,
Sure.
Mark, I agree. Print Genie is excellent for follow-up and affordable follow-up. Another thing that I was going to mention, I've got some students that like to send handwritten letters, and one in particular was telling me that the cost for that for them was like $1.75 a piece. And I know if you're on this program, Andy, you've got handwritten letters for like 85 cents a piece. I mean, it's really inexpensive, and that's with a real stamp on it, not just some postal bulk mail delivery thing. Yes, Sam, it is awesome. Kevin asked, does your text software allow for video text or only written text?
Only written text. The fact is, to be fair with you, there's a lot of regulations in texting. RVM is having a tough time now, right? And so you start to imagine, at least we have. I mean, I've been around for 20 some years, and you saw like, oh, email, and this is in the 2000s, and because it was cheap and easy, and you blast out 10,000 emails or 100,000 emails, but direct mail was always still there. Even when texting is just, texting, everybody's texting, it's like direct mail is going to still be there. So our communication method is more in the authentic relationship building method, where we send out a letter, and back to your kind of tying into your letter thing. Yeah, it's all with a real stamp. Everything looks like it's handwritten. We have lots of different types of letters, but generally speaking, we keep them in a kind of like it looks like your Aunt Sue sent the letter. We don't make it look, and I'll explain that in a second. But what we do is on the texting, we send it out. It's a short text, but it says something to the effect of, hey, this is an auto text. My name is William. I'm interested in, I hope you got the letter that I just sent you. Let's have a conversation. Right. So it's not like, hey, I'll buy your house cash. It's a little bit following up from a letter that you sent. Right. So that's it. I hope I answered your question, but that's kind of the idea as far as the texting. Now, will we add more features inside the texting function, such as videos and short videos? We have a lot of things coming, right? So, but for right now, you send a letter or a postcard followed by a text and an email as a reply to the thing that you sent. In case in point, maybe I can bounce around if it were, if it's okay. To your point, yes, there are tons of letters in here. And then also to your point, all you have to do is click on order, send it to that one person. If I just type in, I'm just kind of sidebarring here, but if you don't know if you don't have if you don't know the person's, if you have their name, put it here. And I'm just saying, enter it. If you don't know it, you can search it. So if I type in like this, 970 Morris Lane, I'm going to go out and search 180 million addresses and find, well, there's the only Marissa Lanes in the country. And I know this one's here because it's California. And they'll go out and find the owner of that address, right? So if you don't know the full address, if you don't know the person's name, search it and we'll find it for you. And I happen to be a trust, so I take that out, of course. And then a first name, if you don't know it, you can always put it in there, or you could put in like Detwiler family, because we'll find out if it's a trust, we'll find out if it's an absentee owner. And now we brought you that address and given it to you. Now, what do? You just click OK. You have a brief disclaimer here. And I'm going to send that letter out. Actually, the pricing on here is not right because I'm using my demo server, but there's 76 cents, or for you, 83 cents full first class. And so just, case in point, so you kind of get it here. Any letter, full color in an envelope with a real stamp, about 83 cents. And that goes out first class. I think that's really important to understand, first class, right? So, but that gives you kind of a vibe as to inside here. And what I'm showing you now, by the way, if I kind of sidebar for a second, if I come over to here and I bounce around a second, you can order that exact same thing that I just showed you from your phone. So you can open up your phone. We'll know where you're located based on the GPS, or as you can see right here, you can type in the address just like I showed you. It's the exact same replica. You can type in an address. It'll find the owner. And now that you have the owner's details, right, you can see their property details, the value of the property, the structure. You can skip trace them and learn their phone and their email. And now down here, what we were just talking about, I can send that same letter from my phone, and it just gives me a list of my whatever 200 postcards and letters. And you can send it right there from your phone to that one person, right? But let's extrapolate on that a little bit.
Hey, Andy, we've got a question.
Yeah.
And Matt asked, is there a best day to mail and to have mail arrive in your
That's great.
experience?
That's a great question, Matt. So here's the storyline on that. Since GoBig's been around for a long time, probably 8 years ago, I think it was a coach that said, hey, I don't want my mail to arrive on a weekend. I only want it to arrive at the beginning of the week. People are busy on the weekends. And so we're like, oh, okay. So we have a system that says, okay, you can order it any day of the week, but you can hit schedule the mail on a Friday, so it arrives on a Monday, Tuesday, right? And so we have that built into GoBig printing. We put effort into building it. Time passes, and there's a good friend of mine that does a lot of mail for clients, not necessarily in the investor space, but he does it for any type of Coca-Cola, et cetera. And he literally has sent over 1 billion pieces of mail for his clients. And I had this long chat with him, and he said, ultimately, it doesn't matter what day of the week it gets there, right? It doesn't matter because, and I can reflect on this too, time and circumstances change all things, right? So like if it's a Monday and something, your cat passed away, you're not interested in mail. It's just, that's the fact. You're not going to put that letter to the side and read it later. Nothing's good that day. Tuesday, Wednesday happened. Life comes back to normal on Thursday. You've forgotten about that. Now you're moving on. Now what's going to happen? You've forgotten that letter. You weren't interested in it, but now you've got something else from that person that sent you another piece of mail, whether it's that same guy who sent you something else, or somebody else. You pick it up, you're interested. Time and circumstances change all things. That's going to overweigh the day it is arrived. Just from my perspective, and literally from the guy who does a billion pieces of that has done a billion pieces of mail. Doesn't
Yeah.
make.
Okay. Andy, we got another question. Richard asked, can you print and automate sending one-offs if we have the JPEG images for front and back?
Can we, yeah, upload your own artwork. Yep, we can do that. And we'll do it for you too. Like the way we're presenting this today is that we're saying, look, Williams built a bunch of good stuff. It's on the system. You don't have to change anything. If you want to add something, don't worry about paying the extra price to be a pro. You don't have to. We'll build it for you, right? And so you can just request it and we'll add it to the site. And I think that's going to be a less expensive, easier way to, you don't need to be a pro is what I'm saying, be a basic user. And I'll explain that in a second. Does that make sense? So
I think, and Richard may want to elaborate a little bit more on this. I think what he's talking about, if he's got a picture of the property or whatever, so each one's going to be unique, and he just wants to do a one-off mailing to a house, can he go in and custom one that's got a specific photo or whatever, front and back?
yeah, so you can use the Google Street View or take your own photo and send a letter or a postcard to that person. Yes, you can.
Because your service actually pulls in the Google Street View for the property. If you're sending even to a list of addresses, it'll pull in the Google Street View for all of those properties, won't it?
Well, so actually what we can do is we can do that in Go Big Printing if you have a list and you want to send out at least our minimum's 100 or 50, I think now.
Right.
If you want to do it to a list, then you'd use the Google Street View that's on Go Big. In Print Genie, you can take a single and it'll pull Google Street View for the single and you can mail it to that one person, right? But it won't pull all addresses. But case in point, though, you can take a photo or use Google Photo and it'll pull it up and put it on the, in the right spot. And like, we build these postcards and letters and we put this green box wherever we want it at an angle or front and back on a letter or postcard. And then that photo will end up on that, right on that spot.
Okay. You mentioned something earlier talking about how you can do this on your phone as well. And I know you're probably going to get to this at some point. This was, I thought, a great feature of the product that you guys actually include a free phone app. And I know a lot of you guys, and even us, I mean, we've paid, 40, 50, 60 bucks a month for some of these apps, and you guys provide it free with this service. Isn't that true?
Yeah, so there's no extra charge for it, and I find it to be the most versatile product, tool set that we have. And we originally called it like Go Big on the Go, but it's really it's a Print Genie app. So everything is mirrored from what you can experience on the desktop on the app. And really, what's amazing about it is that when you open it up, not only do you know the details, hybrid view, satellite view, the details of the owner, you can skip trace it, you can send any of your eviction notices or any of the letters you've created. They're all on there for you, all the ones you've created. Better than that even is you can take a picture and send it. Better than that even, you can send a campaign. So you build a bunch of campaigns, eviction notice, MLS notice, pre-foreclosure notices, generic type of campaigns. They're all in here. So better than just sending a single thing to that one property. In some regards, send them something. Remember, time and circumstances change all things. Better to send a sequence, right? So now we have these campaigns that you built, and we've helped you build, and they're on the system. So what's really cool is you can send that one person this multi-touch sequence. They're going to get a text, an email, a letter, and then maybe a couple weeks later, another postcard, another letter. And some of these things last for 4, 5, and 6 months. Depends on what we decided to do, but that's available. And then what's really, really great is this new tool we've just added. This to me is like the creme de la creme. It's really that tool that I've wanted to do for a long time. In fact, we tried to build a tool like this maybe 15 years ago, and we couldn't get there technology wise, but now we have it. So what I'm suggesting here is from the epicenter where you're at, right? So you're in front of a house. And by the way, you don't have to be in front of the house because all this is on your phone. You could be at Starbucks and do it. But case in point, here you are on your phone and you decided that maybe, for example, you want to buy the property you're standing in front of. Now you know the details of it. So what we're suggesting is that each person in the nearest area is going to be similar with the life challenges and home values and whatever they have. We're very similar. That guy's kind of similar to me. That guy's a little similar to me. So what you can do is choose from 5 to 300 nearest neighbors. And so just due to close proximity, you can say, just send this full campaign, this 4-touch campaign to the 40 nearest neighbors, right? How convenient is that? Because in most cases, if you're interested in buying that property, you'd certainly buy that one if you offered it.
Right.
So that's nearest neighbor, and that's built in. And I guess this is very powerful to share as well. So here we are giving you kind of a reference. We are a printing company. And my contention has always been, it's easier to build. Well, I take that back a little bit because it's really been hard to build this thing, but it's easier to build software and technology around a printing company than to be a software company and then apply printing, because then you have to outsource it and you have to pay more for it. Then you have to upcharge your pricing to your clients. In lots of cases, you're limited to what that outsourcing vendor can provide. So as a printing company, you can see here clearly that by sending, like, for example, a postcard, then a letter, then another postcard, then another postcard. We have mini postcards and jumbo postcards, really at about $2.75. So if you're going to send that one touch to that one house, it's going to cost you about $2.75. And I'm just giving you a 4-touch scenario, right? I'm just giving you a reference here. You can see it's pretty cheap, right? And so our postcards are hovering in the 50-cent range, and our letters are about 80 cents. And that's all first class. And then we'll include a text and an email. But I don't want to confuse anybody. We're not a text blasting service. We're not an email blasting service. Use MailChimp or something. It's cheap and better.
Hey,
What we
Andy.
do is we send mail followed by text and an email. So we're only sending a few.
Right. Andy, we've got a few questions here. I just wanted to point out too, on that nearest neighbor feature that you've got, there's a couple of great uses for that. One, we like to target VA loans. And what I find in a lot of areas is a lot of neighborhoods tend to be a lot of VA people. A lot of military families tend to like specific neighborhoods. So if you're targeting a VA property in a neighborhood, you find one, you can be pretty sure that some of the surrounding houses are VAs as well. So if you're wanting to, without pulling a list, you can use that feature for that. And another great idea, we've for years done a thing called Pick Your Neighbor. We'll take flyers. We pay somebody to physically take flyers house to house. If we bought a house at 123 Oak Street, we would hit everything in the surrounding blocks with, let everybody know this house is going to be on the market. If you know someone who might want to live here, let them know about it. We'll pay your referral. Man, you can do that from your phone now with this app. You can get a mailing sequence, just 1 or 2 cards that lets them know this house is going to be for sale. If you know somebody, a relative, a friend who you'd like to have as a neighbor, do that. But we've got a couple of questions. Rudy and Mike's question are pretty similar. If there is a return to sender, how do we remove them from the list? And then Mike's question, if you get a request to be removed from the list, can you easily drop specific names mid-campaign?
Sure. So let me jump in and give you a show. Let me see if this thing will load up here.
Joni's question, you might can hit it while you're looking for that. She's like me. She's like, when are we getting the app for the Droid? I mean, Droid is better than the iPhone.
Okay, case in point, I think that's actually happening within 90 days, I think. June, somewhere in mid-July.
Mid-July. So we're looking actually less than 60 days.
Yeah, there's a sprint on that, which is development terms for building something. So there's one.
There you go, Joni. I'm in the same boat. So I'm waiting to.
I feel bad. I mean, it's like there's half the market's 50% of the market's Android and iPhone. And the fact is this, you try to create a tool that works for your users. Like I was trying to say before, like you're a coach, want to give good results. We're a direct mail company, want to give good results. Well, we created this Sprint Genie with the contention of getting good results. It's been so fantastic that now we've doubled up on our development team. It's moving up to about 12 developer guys. There's about 5 now full time. And now there's we're adding another 5 or so. And so we're building so many things into this thing that we had to go, wait a second, every time it's like that Sophie's choice moment. It's like, wait, we want to add this. No, but this is great. We want to add that. So we're a little bit in that tug of war, but we do have a roadmap that's 18 months, and it's
Right.
spectacular, this roadmap of what we're developing, because we just discovered we created this MVP here.
Right.
But
Okay.
case in point, Android coming maybe about 90 days or within
Okay.
90 days.
We got another question here. Is skip tracing included? And what is your data source for skip tracing?
Sure. So we use First American Title, and we do it like this. So for example, here's your list. You can skip trace the whole list. There's 35, I'm on a demo site, so I'm not quite sure if the numbers will be right, but they're 15 cents or 20 cents each, right? And so, but here's the deal. If you have 35 names, your potential is going to be $5 for the 35 names, but that's only if we find 100%. We're never going to find 100%, or I should say First American Title is never going to find 100%. What they do is they go out and find the most used phone and the most used email, and then they respond with it. So here's the deal. You're probably going to get about 40% you're going to be able to skip trace. And there's no minimums, right? So you can skip trace the whole list, or you can jump in here and then just skip trace one person, right? So that's available. And then once again, we're only going to find the most used phone and most used email. We use First American Title. Yeah, that's what we do.
Hey, Cindy had a question. What is the return address on your letters or postcards? And correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, but that you're going to set up your profile, and whatever address you put in there is going to be the address.
That's right. So you set up your profile, your first name, last name, website, email, all that stuff, your return address, your billing stuff. But obviously I'm in a test site here, but you're going to have a return address right there, and then you can make it whatever you want. And what I should do is I should show you just real quickly, just inside here. And I kind of wish that I wish my thing was, sorry, they're still bouncing on it. Just telling me that it isn't ready yet. So sorry.
I think they have some, I think, Andy, didn't you tell me you guys have some server updates or something on the site?
We're doing it right now, and I just go figure, so the way it works is on Wednesdays, every 2 weeks, we update. And then occasionally on the following, so they do an update during the night, and then on Thursday morning, I should never do a demo because there's just times when things happen, right? And so we do a lot of things, and it just happened to be this morning. But I am on the demo site, so you can still kind of see what's going on. Apologize, but case in point, let me just share with you. Someone else had asked about skip tracing. Someone else asked about deleting or stopping someone from a campaign. So let me show you. Let me share with you that experience. As you set up a campaign, right, you pick from an existing campaign, and I don't have yours in here, and I don't have all of them in here. There's like 30 of them in here. Case in point, driving for $1 campaign, which is important. This is 2 letters, 4 postcards, 6 texts, 6 emails. It goes out once a month, and it lasts for about 6 months, right? It costs about $4 to send those, because I have a lot more in this one. 4 postcards, 2 letters, right? What's it good for? Blah, blah, blah. You can read all about why it's a good product or it's a good campaign. And then we give you a description on each one of what it's good for. So as I come through these, if you want to see what it is, just click on it. And so now from your phone or from the desktop or from your Podio account, your CRM, you're going to trigger this postcard. It's going to go out, and then it's going to follow up by a text message, followed up by an email, followed up by another postcard, another text, another email, another letter. And now imagine all this stuff is going out automatically. You're not even thinking about it, just happens, right? So I'm just kind of zipping through this, but this is imagine, like when we say that time and circumstance thing, I mean it. It's like, case in point, we bought a house a year and a half last year. I think it was with my son. He's like, oh, let's do some mail. And I said, sure. Dad's the guy. So we sent out like a lot of mail. It was like 12,000 mini postcards because it was cheap. And I'm thinking, I'm all bragging about campaigns and stuff, but I did a big blast and I had such a poor response. And then he and his partner were like, Dad, you're the guy. And then, but the fact is, what happened was this: we sent it out, we had a dismal response, and we followed up again because we knew that list was still valid. And then about, I guess it was about 3 weeks between, the guy called us back up and he said he received our postcard. And then that time had passed. he's glad he got the second one because first one, like I said before, he just never kept it, didn't remember it, but his mom had passed away. And so when he received the second one, he's like, oh, that's perfect timing, right? So time and circumstances. We bought the house, put in about 40, 50 grand into it, sold it for, bought it 380, bought it 560. So we had a good profit on that. And that was like an amazing, start to my kids' decision to try to be an investor. Case in point, it's all about the follow-up. It's all about the sequence. And we already built that for you. And the ones that William built are awesome for you as well. And they're all available in here. So all you have to do is just choose a campaign you want, attach the list that you want. Here's my list of whatever, 9 people, hit next step. And then it's going to, it's going to charge me $30 for the 9 people to get 4 mini postcards, 2 single-sided letters, 6 emails, and 6 text messages. Now I know this thing is just dripping, and it's so nice to know that. And I see most orders are under 50. I see so many orders come in that are like, I don't know, 20 names, 30 names. And what they do is they just constantly adding names to that campaign, and it just drips and drips and drips. So you have a constant flow of those names.
Well, I mean, so that's the power of that the driving app that you guys have that ties into all of this is, I mean, if Saturday's your day to drive for dollars, you go out, you drive a neighborhood, you find 3 or 4 houses, you pull up in their driveway or on the side of the street, take a photo, hit a few keys on the thing, on the little keypad there, and you've got a sequence set up that's going to cost you $3 or $4 to contact those people over the next 4 months. You can skip trace it right from the thing. So you've got emails, you've got phone numbers, and it just does it all for you. If you find 5 houses every Saturday and it's $3 a campaign, that's $15 that you're going to spend over the next 4 months for those 5 houses. And if you do that every Saturday, by the end of the month, you've put, 20 houses into your funnel.
Yeah, that's key. You said it exactly right. You're putting them into your funnel, and then dripping them that way is from what my experience is, it's a relief knowing that you're exhausting that list or that house or that property. You can't do much more to it than that feasibly. Like for example, we realized we created like 7 is the magic number. In marketing, that's the magic number. It takes at least 7 times to get someone to respond to the message that you're sending. And that's plastered everywhere on our website, right? 7 is the magic number. Case in point, you're going to feel good about the fact that you just sent out that campaign. It's hitting them many times, like letters and postcards, texts and emails, and you can't do anything more to it. Other than that, you've exhausted that list. But that's key. And we say that all over the place, right down the line. I have this little thing in my head that I keep not saying it, but if you do start the campaign and you do acquire the house, you don't want to mail them anymore, all you do is search that person right here. It'll go out and find them in all of your lists, or you can just click in and click on delete. And when you delete it, he's no longer a part of that sequence and it won't happen anymore. And what's also cool is this. Some people that do testing, they'll come in here and they'll set up their account settings and they'll put in a phone number and they'll set up their website, and now they have an account profile. Then they'll click on active campaigns, find their favorite campaign, click the campaign, order the campaign, right? And now the campaign's up and running with that profile that you just set up with that phone number and that email. So that campaign becomes specific to that phone number and that website. However, you're like, cool, you can go back into your account settings after you order that campaign, change your profiles to a different phone number, a different website, for example, a different return address, go back in, order another campaign, and then it will retain the information from your profile on that campaign. So that's a good way to start to consider testing, right? So if you're doing call rail or if you're driving to a specific website, you just change it on the fly like that, and that way you can track it.
Right. Another cool aspect of the program I really liked is you've got a couple of options. You can, if you've got another tool like PropStream, you can pull a list, upload it into Print Genie, and mail from there. But if you're just getting started, if you don't have the budget to have a bunch of tools, you can actually pull a list right from Print Genie.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, that's exactly what we built it with, the intention of you probably, in lots of cases, come with your own list. Fair enough? So you just give it a name and you map it out. There you go. You just brought in your list from wherever you got your list. You can enter them manually one at a time. And we added this motivated seller list. And what we did was our company has been working closely with another data company for a long while. And the best feature of that data set is what we created here. What you're looking at is these preset filters. And what I'm saying is that we have a lot of direct mail campaigns, postcards and letters that are pre-written. And that's what moves the needle. People love that it's already been written. It's already a campaign. The time's already set. It's already coming with a text and an email and a postcard and a letter. It already says the right stuff. Then they like the fact that data was pre-created too. So like they didn't want to have to go in and pick from 200 filters to define the data set, right? Now that's great for some people, not taking it away from those people that want to go in and do that. But we found that our solution works best in an on-demand type of solution where we pre-build it. So in here we have bank bypass, mortgage, we call it mortgage magic, homes built before 1975 with high equity. And all you do is mouse over each one of these preset filters. And there might be like 30 filters that went into making that. And that's it. You pick the filter that you want, landlords with 50% or 50 grand property value, or those that are over leveraged. And then you just click on the state, the county, and then the cities that you want to market in. And if you want, you can choose zip codes as well.
Yep. Sorry, we got a few more questions here.
Sure.
Yes, Mark, you can change the message you're sending. He wanted to know if he could change it from "we'll buy your house" to "we'll help with your lender." You can customize these things to say anything you want.
Yeah. So, I mean, and also case in point, the premise behind what we're doing here is that we pre-build stuff for you so you don't have to do that. So I would encourage you to think like in this situation, my suggestion, you would go in and work with me directly or William, maybe more over me, and you'd say, "Hey, Andy, I like what you guys are doing, but I don't know what you do. Maybe it's like I buy, I take over leases. I don't know." So you can say, "I love this look of this postcard or letter." You can duplicate it, copy it, make your own, right? You can tell us to do it, which is probably easier and cheaper because then if you just have a couple, then let us do it. You don't have to pay $97 a month, right? If you want us to do it, pay $50 a month, right? And then you get use of the whole tool and you don't have to worry about spending extra per month because we'll make it for you. And I can show you with that how that works. But in here, you pick your list. You include phones or emails, or maybe you don't believe in emails and you just want phones. You click search, and we'll go out and find those leads. And now you've got your leads, and you can send them a letter, you can send them a postcard, or you can send them a full campaign.
Okay, got a couple of other questions here. Greenwood Homes, is your list data for all 50 states? I believe it is, isn't it, Andy? You can do state and county.
We do. Yeah, we use Title Toolbox,
Yep.
And Title Toolbox has been a good friend of ours for a long time. We pull a lot of leads. I mean, a lot of people come in from PropStream. We get a lot of people from Property Radar, Melissa Data, ListSource, of course, right? So we internally just happen to tie in our data through Title Toolbox. One of their larger clients is Old Republic Title Company, like one of the top 3 title companies. They've been around. These guys have been around a long time. You might remember their tool was called Rebo Gateway. That's what kind of their predecessor product was called, but now they kind of call it Title Toolbox. But they're also revamping Rebo Gateway. Either way, that's what we use for the data.
Exactly. Richard asked if you can talk about what limits you may have, if any, with Zapier integrations.
Yeah, sure. So one of the cool things is if this has really been the game changer, but anything that connects to Zapier can connect to us. And so let me, the way it works, I'll just paint a picture for you. So I think we can do it through, I don't know, maybe I can explain it this way. It might make more sense. Integrations. So for those of you that don't understand it, Zapier is a bridge between something else and us, or 2 things, or 3 things, or many things. So what you can do is you might have Podio, you might have Property Radar, you might have Salesforce, you might have another solution. You can have a Google Sheet. There's 1,800 or something like 2,000 different companies that can connect to Zapier. And so what you do is you say, from my Podio account, right? From my Podio account, I want to zap an action. send a campaign, or I want to send a template. And the setup takes all but about a minute, right? So if you want, we'll set them up for you. Like we say down here, I think it's somewhere around here. Let's see, it's under dynamic data. This gives you another reference. If you connect to another data center, Property Radar, they have a connection where you can trigger data sets. So when your data changes, it automatically is going to send that new record a campaign, a letter, or a postcard. I can get into that more detail after, maybe as we kind of get into the granular efforts, but we can help you set that up. But that's how the Zapier works. And we can kind of demonstrate that. It's not really a demonstration. It's more like, I don't know if you want to see it, but it's easy as, I'll give you a for instance here. I think I have an account here.
Hey, well, okay, you're logging in. Well, Corey had a question real quick while you're getting to that. If you pull a list where the same owner owns multiple properties, will it filter out the multiples, or will that be on the user to do prior to sending it over?
That's a great question. So when you upload a list on GoBig, you can choose to remove duplicates. When you upload them into Print Genie, we don't do that. So you would take out the duplicates before you input them. What we've discovered is people don't like to remove the duplicates, because for those people that have multiple properties, what the contention is, which one should I send him? I'm like, hi, Mike at 123 Main Street. I want to buy your property at Elm Street, but he also owns 6 others, right? So which one do you choose that you want to send to? So we find for those that would have multiple properties, for the cost, why not just send them multiples? That's a choice. But currently though, in Print Genie, you cannot remove duplicates on the fly. Back to the Zapier question, you set up a data set and then it'll trigger mail automatically. So here on the 27th, two people fell into foreclosure, they're getting a campaign. On the 26th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, big day for foreclosures, 16, 17, 18, 19. So about 20 people fell into foreclosure in this region on this day. So whether you use these guys or otherwise, if you're using PropStream, great. Take that list that you're acquiring and you get your daily summaries, just dump them into Print Genie. So it's as easy as that. So you get your daily summaries from wherever you're getting your data. It just happens to be that you can set that up dynamically through Property Radar into Print Genie. But for the effort, if you're just getting your leads from some other place like PropStream or otherwise, collect your leads, dump them into Print Genie. It takes all but about a minute, right? So easy enough to do. Did I answer that question? I think I bounced around quite a bit there, but
they ask a lot of they ask a lot of great questions. Really.
Oh, you really do. I love it so far. I mean, like right now, what I'm looking at is I have unfortunately my demo site here. Let's go back over here. Like say, for example, I have tons of these postcards and letters already in there, right? So you find your postcard and you don't like this one, so you can just come in here and you can hit duplicate, and I'll call it test handy 01, for example. And I'm really getting too granular on this because I'm not suggesting that your folks need to be a pro and make their own stuff. I'm suggesting that they use the stuff we have and pay a lot less for it. But I'm also I thought at the same time, I can show you a little bit of the power of what we're building here, right? So once you see a postcard or letter, and by the way, this is what we did, in reference to some of the stuff we built for you. We went in and found a bunch of existing postcards and letters because we already have hundreds from every shape and size. And so lots of times you don't have to just start from scratch. You can just pick from one of ours. Like here's one I just copied. I can just duplicate it. Now I'm going to duplicate it. I didn't like that font, so I can change the font, maybe make it a different font, and I can come over here and change the color, right? So I'm just giving you kind of perspectives here. This yellow background, you can change it. We're saying, look, and there's not like a big white box here. We're saying you can change the color. We're just saying, make sure that you're not putting a dark color in this area over here. There's lots of doodles to play with, lots of shapes that you can play with and change the color. You can use our little hand-drawn doodle thing to make your own. And there's images, right? And you can just search images and drive them into here as well. Just search on something like houses and it'll find any house, and then you can bring them into into your postcard or letter. That's
But
that
Andy,
side.
what you had said earlier was, if somebody, like, let's say Mark, for example, asking about, can we change from we buy houses to we'll help with your lender? Well, I think I know where Mark's going. Mark's a smart guy. He knows that the forbearances are coming to an end, everything else. There's going to be a big market of people who want to try to save their house. So he's probably going to create a sequence that says, hey, I mean, it's a different hook. I can help with your lender, possibly save your house, that sort of thing. If somebody wants to create that sequence, all they have to do, well, if they're a student of mine, all they have to do is let me know, and I can work with you and we can get that thing set up and put in there for them. They don't have to have a pro account. They can just have a basic account and still get that done.
Oh, I'm highly suggesting that. I'm
Yeah.
really highly suggesting that. Look at, for $50, you're getting discounted mail, sequences, singles, an app, skip tracing for 20 cents each. You have like, I mean, really, I know our bean counter is going, we've already had people suggesting that we're not charging enough. Anyway, case in point, for $50, if you wanted to have a sequence that has to do with what you just suggested, and the forbearance coming to an end and foreclosures being released and not as many regulations on that, it is so easy to build a postcard or letter and make a campaign that I behoove you to just ask William or me and say, this is what I want, and we'll build it for you, right? So our library, although, because we've been doing investing stuff for 20 years, 22 years, we have a lot in here, but we don't have everything. And there's the nuances of forbearance. When we started building this, there wasn't anything called forbearance, right? So yeah, ask us and we'll build it and then make it available for you. And then you don't have to spend more than $50.
Yeah. Okay. A couple more questions. Joni asks, so if we enter, I'm thinking that she means if you set something to go out, are they sent out tomorrow or is there a delay?
Sure. And to be transparent with you, prior COVID, our print Genie products went out in one day because it's run through what we call an API, which is a connection to our printing facility. That means that you can order one postcard from your phone and it's going to blend. It just goes right in with everybody else who ordered one postcard, right? So we can keep the prices really low. And we can run them automatically. And we're not doing quality control check. We're not doing creating job tickets, and we don't have tons of staff to have to monitor that like we do on the Go Big side. So you can order one and send it out. Prior to COVID, it went out in one day. After COVID, due to people being displaced, now we're moving back in again, but we couldn't have so many people on the floor. So I would say that it's 2 to 3 day turnaround time on average. So here's what I suggest. If you push the button go, don't expect anybody to get that mail for between, I'd say, realistically, 7 to 11 days. And I say that because I'm not mailing it. USPS is mailing it. Fact is, they're not exactly on the 2 to 4 day first class schedule either. They're at 3 to 5 days. So 2, 3 days for us, 3, 5 days for them. That's about 8 to 11 day timeline. That's what I would expect. And so when we send out our mail now, when we first set up our campaigns, we say, send a text in 7 days. That means they would have already received their postcard or letter and they would have it in their hand and they're sitting there going like, they just got this postcard and they're looking at it. And then a day later, they're getting a text message. Oh, did you get the postcard? It's like, oh, that worked out because it was 7 days. Now we're sending that text and that email on about the 11th day, just to be fair. And by the way, while I'm saying this, everything here, that we print here is all full bleed. So like when you order stuff, we print right off the edge. And I should point out though, if this is your house, I should say that everything we do, right? If it's a letter, it always comes with a full first class stamp. The product here, I was going to try and show you something here. The product that we print on, or the paper that we print on, is this heavy cardstock. And I don't know if you can hear it, but they put their name, they put their face on it. And then here's the property, right? So I kind of like that thing, by the way. I like that their photo was on there. And anyway, so here it is. And it's a heavy cardstock, but it's on this matte coating that's got kind of a silky feel to it. So you can see if I shine the light, but it's a really nice feeling thing. And I mean, of course, doing this stuff, I like that feel. It's like an Apple product. Excuse me, William. It's like an Apple product that you just bought. It's inside of a packaging and it's a very, nice silky finish. And
Right.
that's important. I mean, touch and feel, right? So, case
Okay,
in point.
guys, we're wrapping up the last few questions here. Richard said, is there a limit on the number of templates if you have region-specific logos?
Uh, region-specific logo, is there a limit? I lost you.
No,
Say it again.
he wants to know, is there a limit on the number of templates that you can have in your account if you have region-specific logos? It sounds like Richard buys all over the country, and he may use different company logos or what have you in there.
Sure. So no, I mean, the fact is we can set up something for you where you can have a postcard that includes that one logo and a letter that includes another logo and another postcard or whatever. So no, it's unlimited. I mean, that you're gonna blend between the pro and the basic user. And just to be clear, a basic user is using the assets we and William have created for you. And there's lots in here and you're using them. If you wanted to really edit, manipulate, make your own and spend time doing that, either we can build that for you and put it in your account, or you can actually upgrade and be a pro and do it. We're just suggesting to most people, you don't need to do that unless you're maybe like you're talking about, but case in point, there's no limit. You just keep building stuff, right?
Okay.
And also true to form here. This is also a convenience tool for me. For 2 decades, we've been asked to build templates for people, and they send in their artwork, and we build it onto the system. This is on GoBig, and it takes about 7 days for us to build it and put it on the system. Then they can edit it and order it and stuff like that. And to date, we've done 50,000 templates in these last 20 years. What's really amazing about this is you can just jump in, make your own template, open up your phone, and order it like 1 second later. So it's very satisfying, right? But case in point, it's only for those that really want to go to the pro account and then take advantage, of building the stuff themselves.
Yep. Okay, Andy, thanks so much. Listen, guys, hey, we appreciate all the questions. Great questions. Appreciate y'all joining us today. We certainly appreciate Andy coming and showing us Print Genie and how we can do some incredible things with direct mail for super cheap. Thanks so much, Andy, for being with us.
Oh, I love being here, and you can always follow up with questions, and I'm happy to help in any way. There's a great help section, but we're always here for you. I appreciate your time today, William. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. Hey guys, appreciate you being here for Goat Talk today. Tomorrow, we're actually going to have a bonus Goat Talk session. We had a sub 2 student got his first sub 2 this week. He made a post on it. William did, and he's actually going to come on tomorrow and talk to us about his first deal, how he got it. He's going to give us all the facts on the case study, projected profits, and just all the details. So if you guys are still in search of your first deal, you'll want to join us for that tomorrow. It'll be the same time, but it'll be on Friday. So you guys join us tomorrow for that. So thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow for the bonus Go Talk. Talk to you guys then. Have a great day. Hey, okay, Andy, thanks so much, man. That was great.
I hope so. I mean, sometimes it's like I love when there's this type of conversation when people ask questions, because sometimes I go through like a PowerPoint slide and it's like I want to get into it and just chat and show stuff. But there's a lot of value to like what to do and not to do in direct mail marketing.
There's like I said, these guys, they can ask a lot of questions, so we never know. But yeah. Sure. So anyway, we appreciate you being on here. Sure. Like I said, this is a larger group, and we're going to try to get some of those guys over there to sign up with you and everything. So that's good to hear the Android thing's coming out in about 60 days.
Yep. Yeah. No, but I hate this. I hope, maybe if you're going to share, you can't really sign up now. You go to Print Genie and look around the website, but it looks like I'm still having a down problem. Sorry, but if you put notice that they're going to have to check back a little bit later.
Yeah, I'll do that. Okay. And you have a Facebook account? Are you a member of the sub 2 group?
I don't remember.
I'll tell you what, if you've got a pen, if you can jot this down, I actually bought a URL that'll take you straight to it. It's the sub 2 forum, SUB2 forum.com.
Sub2forum.com.
Yeah, forum.
Gotcha. Let me and that'll take me.
It'll take you straight to that group. And yeah, if you have a minute today, there were a few questions we didn't get to. If you want to jump in there and answer those for them. And then anytime something comes up about mailing or printing, I'll just tag you in it.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Actually, I'm already in there. I'm noticing, I'm watching your video now. Or I can see it
Okay.
there.
All right, cool. All right, then you're in there. So like I said, there were 3 or 4 other questions we just didn't get to today. We try to end these right on the hour.
Oh, good.
So if you don't mind, I think somebody asked, do you list stack and some other things like that? So if you want to answer them, and yeah, and I'll just start tagging you anytime somebody brings up something about direct mail.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to write you a little response here that I am in your subgroup meeting or sub two group, and then I'm available for any questions that anybody
Sure.
has.
Okay, great. All
And
right, man.
thanks, William. Have an awesome day.
Have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.